there's no money in Americans being able to have purchasing power with their currency. If they have purchasing power with their currency, what that means is that they'll buy property, they'll buy houses, things of that nature. And then when their boss says something like, hey, I want you to do this, follow this really stupid order, this highly stupid order, they go, oh, well, I guess I have, I don't have to because I own my property. I can just go back to my house and my farm and what have you. That's what would happen in theory if Americans owned everything, if Americans they weren't debt laden and they didn't owe a bunch of fake bankers money, all that kind of stuff, right? You get the idea? So if Americans had a strong currency domestically, then they would be in the category of FU, right? Remember that we've all seen the John Goodman speech that he gives Mark Wahlberg. We all see it. You scroll TikTok long enough, you'll see that movie clip, and it's like, yeah, that's the thing. See, if Americans have a strong currency, right, most of the working class at this point would have stopped working. Think about it. Put yourself in the position. If you owned your vehicles, your house, and everything outright, and you didn't have any other bills, most people would say, dude, I'm not doing any of this stupid stuff because this isn't worth my time. I call it like I see it. Most people I run into, good friends, total strangers, doesn't matter. Every one of them hate their jobs. Every one of them. Every one of them hate that they are working for people that are just the most incompetent people that like the company could find to be their bosses. It's rare to run into like a company where a middle manager actually truly knows what they're doing and truly cares what they're doing. The reason that is because everything, let me shift gears slightly, but this is on topic. Things rot from the top down every single time. There's a video about mass psychosis that was done. It was a very good video, and it's on YT, and it is by it's After School, AFTERSKOOL, and they did this really cool video explaining what a mass psychosis is. Mass psychoses start at the top every single time, and the reason they start at the top is because the people that are at the top of these hierarchies, especially fake hierarchies like we have here, hierarchies conjured from nothing, hierarchies of counterfeit money conjured from nothing, out of nothing, and worth nothing. These people start to lose touch with all reality entirely. They completely start to lose touch. This is why you see things like, America's favorite billionaire going on about how he's going to move people to Mars, a planet that has no atmosphere. Yeah. That is a beginning of mass psychoses. And no one will ever tell him different, by the way, because so many people work for him or they want his money. And so, like, you have the Michael Jackson effect. You have the Elvis Presley effect. It's the same thing. Why would nobody tell Elvis Presley the truth? Because, well, they were afraid that he would fire them. And they made a lot of money, and because Michael Jackson was the exact same thing. Nobody ever pulled, you think about what would happen if you were a normal, rational, logical human being, right? They might say to Michael Jackson, they might pull Mike aside and say, dude, Mike, look, hey, listen, I'm telling you as a friend, even if there's nothing going on, and it's totally innocent with all these kids you're having over at your house, dude, this looks bad, and you probably shouldn't be doing this, right? That's a logical thing for someone to say. They would be fired. And because you bumped up against the delusion of somebody who has a lot of money and therefore a lot of power. Okay, no actual authority in anything other than the king of pop. Nothing really, no real authority as far as that's concerned. But as far as like anything outside of that, that's the problem. These guys, whether it's look at Gil Bates. I guess you can't say his real name, so I'm going to just make up a name for him. But look at Gil Bates. He's trying to create what was it? He wants to create this fake food so that people can sustain these guys lose touch with all reality, right? And no one will tell them any different. They're terrified to tell anybody any different. They just go along with it. This is your order followers. And your order followers are, I mean, again, that's why I don't have any respect for police or military. I don't. It's impossible for me to have respect for police or military at this point. I can have respect for deserters, but I can't have respect for anybody who still dons those uniforms now. I just don't. I have no respect for you anymore. If you're in uniform, I don't care what your rank is. I cannot have respect for that. Not at this stage. Not at what we're seeing. Like, because I know that people above you are incompetent, and you're still following the orders of incompetent people. You're following the orders of sycophants, right? So this is my long-winded way of explaining that if you have a hard currency, or a currency, not a hard currency, excuse me, just take hard currency out of this. If we actually had the US dollar, the single most worthless currency that has ever existed in the history of mankind, and then all of a sudden had all this value for the American people, most American people who are not delusional, who are not a bunch of sycophants, who are not a bunch of people who are in the middle of a mass psychosis or psychosis, would be quitting their jobs in mass. And they would be telling all these delusional people, like, dude, you people are crazy. I'm going to go back to my house that's paid for and my, and just do something else because you people are nuts. That's what would be happening. And so they have to have this worthless currency that circulates, so that way people have to constantly be chasing after this worthless currency that they control the printing of out of nothing. This is indisputable. I know that there's a whole bunch of mega accounts out there that love to stitch my material. You don't know me at all, right? And there's one in particular that I saw that, that's really clever to just take everything I said out of context and chop up my video like the media, like old school media, as opposed to, doing this, where if you notice, there hasn't been an edit yet. Why? Because I know what the hell I'm talking about. And yeah, this is exactly the problem. So yeah, if you have Americans that have currency that's worth something, most Americans right now would be telling all of their politicians to get bent. They'd be telling all of their so-called fake billionaires to get bent. They'd say, dude, we don't, you guys are crazy. Guys like Kellogg. Look up Kellogg, the crazy man. Like Kellogg from Kellogg's Breakfast, the guy who was just insane. I mean, look up he was convinced that everybody needed to be in a mental institution. The guy was nuts, but nobody says anything because, well, he's got a lot of money, and so we don't want to threaten our existence here, so let's just go ahead and go along with all this because we want money too. Think about it long enough, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about.